Nope, nope, that's too obvious. What else can I use? No, not quite feeling it. Wait, I've got it!
Look at my horse is amazing, give it a lick.
Perfect! Okay, let's get this ball rolling. Sup, heathens? I'm Happy Viking, and I'm here to make you awesome, one frothy pint of metal at a time. So drink up. You know what's awesome? Nostalgia. Everybody loves a good blast from the past, especially metalheads, because back in the day, in the 70s and 80s, we ruled that shit. Which is why nowadays, we have a concentrated retro rock and roll renaissance going on in the form of the new wave of traditional heavy metal. The new wave, where the new generation takes on the sleek and sexy styles of the old. Chains, studs, boots, bullet belts, and black leather, shining bright like the battle armor of a new decadent decade, ready to brave the fray and slay and cake itself in blood, vomit, and other sexy bodily fluids. Ah, yeah. It warms the crusty cockles of my grim, frostbitten heart to see so many wild and woolly whippersnappers latch on to the timeless styles of yesteryear. The new wave of trad metal is a beauty to behold. But as with all trends that capture the hearts and minds of men, there's always going to be that deluge of droll, that avalanche of average, that mudslide of meh. For every skullfist and white wizard you get out of the new wave, you always get a dozen bands that are all sizzle and no steak, all shake and no bake, all talk and no rock. Well, there is rock, but it's not especially engaging rock. It's everything you've heard before, but without any real innovation behind it. See, this is the conundrum that a lot of new wave acts have trouble with. How do I simultaneously sound like my favorite bands, yet still be unique in my own right? And it seems that after a brief bit of buckling the belt, donning the denim, and strumming the strat, that most groups content themselves with looking the part and just rest on their laurels. Laurels that are likely covered in blood, vomit, and other sexy bodily fluids, but hey, that's the price of not putting the effort in. But for all these subpar rock stars, you occasionally get your jumpin' and jivin' genuine articles. Like the band I have today, a band that bubbles to the top like the head of a hoppy beverage, revved up and ready to raise hell with some good old-fashioned heavy metal. Metal that's wild, untamed, and powerful. Like a steel fucking horse. You're in the final zone, place to find and live. You're in the final zone. Bringing the pain all the way from Spain, Steel Horse is the official designation of this Boeing B-17 nostalgia bomber, a flying fortress of fun, fantasy, and fucking awesomeness. Its 4 furious engines, fueled by vintage virtuosity, tearing ass through the sky, dropping potent and powerful payloads of retro rock and roll on strategic targets. Up to and including your ass. And hot damn, your booty hole is going to be blown to kingdom come, because unlike the other more tepid and typical tribute bands to the trad metal troubadours of times long gone, Steel Horse is a breath of fresh air. They got the spark, they got the means to electrify and diversify. But worry not, scared and fearful children. The sound they've crafted is a familiar one, a nostalgic one that perfectly invokes memories of past glories attained on the fields of battle. Like the time you fought 2 women in a plastic kiddie pool filled up with chocolate-flavored lube? Oh yeah, Steel Horse is the soundtrack to that. So, as you can note out here, Steel Horse is one fine face-wrecking equine, but from what powerful pasture was this bombastic bronco brought up and bred? Well, let's find out. The band came to be in 2007 when Madrid metal maestros Willie Gascon and Jorge Cortez separated from their previous band, Dead End Road. An unfortunately prophetic name if ever there was one, since I can't find any information on the band anywhere. Regardless, the duo wanted a change of pace with a familiar face. Cutting to the chase, classical heavy metal was the answer, in the style of Accept, Maiden, and Priest. So they got that started up, and they wrangled up a couple of dudes, and they put out a debut album in 2009 called Wild Power. She's not the only one who's got the wild power, boys. Steel Horse went from a canter to a full-on gallop with this release. They played shows all over. Madrid, Belgium, Germany, Greece, tearing up every festival they were let loose in, including one featuring old pros Cloven Hoof. And then, in 2011, they put out an even sicker album, where they saddle up and ride into the storm. If nothing else, this horse eats lightning and craps thunder. Hay and salt licks ain't gonna satisfy this balls to the wall stallion. Stallion, it's like stallion but with stall, the German word for steel. Fuck it, that joke sucked. Steel Horse. Man, I just love that name too. It's simple, yet evocative. Which is precisely why the band chose the name in the first place. It's not like the other bands that go the old school route and just pick names that sound dumb and ridiculous, like Vulture, Pegasus, Metal Lucifer. Come on guys, you just look silly. Get real. Like Steel Horse. Steel Horse is real, simple, direct, authoritative. Plus, it's open-ended. It could be referring to any number of very metal things, like a motorcycle, a la the Bon Jovi metaphor, or steam locomotives, if you're willing to stretch the term a little to include Iron Horse. Or, of course, it could be referring to the most steel horse of all, the one from Robot Unicorn Attack! No, the other one. Yeah! Scratch that, I like the other one better. Oh. But yes, sick name for a sick band that does nothing but make sick tracks. Like this one right here. Now, what is it about Steel Horse that appeals to me and that I feel other new wave bands lack? Well, first of all, it's something that I've talked about quite a bit on this show. Versafucking-tility. Mediocre bands make songs that sound so similar to their influences that they become completely unnoticeable and unmemorable. Steel Horse, however, mixes it up. Big Billy Gascan and his crew of Cybertronic Sea Biscuits are straight-up talented composers, son! Their riffs rise above the riff-raff and rabble, battling the common cattle and coming out glorious and victorious. I contend that the best part of any Steel Horse song is the bridge, because the instrumentality on display is just plain radical. And not only that, but they can bring out a lot of interesting, grandiose emotion in their songs, like in this instrumental number right here. But just because I'm praising the instrumentalist doesn't mean that the singer isn't also bringing the ruckus. No, Jorge Cortez is sick. That dude has a man's voice. Loud, proud, wiry, and wild. Welcome to the land of the wolves. They want your scream, not your blood. Kinda reminds me of Udo Dirkschneider, the guy who used to sing for German speed metal band Accept. In fact, these guys take a lot of cues from Accept. They're basically the Spanish Accept. Acceptar. Whoa, that's radical! It's like Accept mixed with Reptar, the dinosaur from Rugrats. A pretty fucking metal children's show. Shut up! Any show that has had the privilege of having the late, great Tony J on it is instantly metal.
Well, in my third book, Taming Your Toddler, 1995 from Las Vegas University Press.
I want that man's voice! Writer, get a shovel. Dig up Tony J's grave and bring me his vocal cords. I want to eat them so I can gain his power. Dude, that is not how medical science works. And besides, Tony J's been dead for like 5 or 6 years. Those cords gotta be pretty grody and rotten by now. Oh yeah, good point. What if I mixed them with a really strong chili? You think the taste would be bearable then, or... Dude, I am not helping you dig up and eat a corpse. You want it, you get it yourself. Fine, nuts to you then. Where was I? If Steel Horse has a weakness, I'd have to say that I think they have somewhat underwhelming choruses. Now, this has nothing to do with the singer's ability or with English being a second language to them. I think it's mainly a result of their composing technique. In an old interview, Jorge stated that Willie basically composes the whole song, and Jorge simply adds the lyrics on top of it. Now, this isn't optimal for choruses. The chorus is where all the focus is on the singer, and where they should have free rein to let loose and show their chops. But it's hard to do that when he's bootstrapped to a pre-written guitar riff. He's not singing with it, he's singing around it. It limits his ability to really sell a chorus and make it the fist-pumping anthem you really want it to be. So my suggestion, as a professional internet whatever person who knows nothing whatsoever about musical theory, is to let the singer have greater sway over how the chorus goes. Just for a bit, the guitar plays second fiddle. Sorry, Willie. This is really more noticeable on Wild Power, where the chorus sort of blends into the background. Into the Storm is way better in this regard. Jorge seems a lot more energetic. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking things. Anyway, allow me to summarize. Steel Horse wears its influences on its shoulder, but it never comes across as a cheap copy. Steel Horse is its own animal, running wild and free along the plains of plenty, plunging its metal hoofs into new, yet familiar ground. These Spaniards got the spark, and it gives them more grit than El Cid, more balls than the World Cup, and more momentum than the running of the bulls. So steer clear of these here Iberian barbarians when they barrel forth on the rock and roll warpath, lest you be trampled underfoot by their shining steeds, metal mares, and ball-busting bionic broncos. There's no breaking this horse. Steel Horse breaks you, even if you are Bon Jovi. They still have some kinks to work out, as all bands do, but they're working on a new album, and I'm sure it's going to be badass. They've got nowhere to go but up. And remember, if life fucks you and makes you fall, stand up, keep your pride, and fight. Straight from the horse's mouth, son. Ride on, you majestic animal. Ride on. I'm Happy Viking, and you've just been served your recommended dosage of heavy metal. Rock on and drink responsibly. And now, if you excuse me, I have some, landscaping to do.